Hawaiian shirts, tropical drinks, and good friends. These are just some of the things that make up the tiki culture. Since the 1930s, the tiki scene has risen and fallen in popularity, but in recent years it's seen a resurgence. Fueled by people who have a love for nostalgia and the island lifestyle, the tiki culture is once again thriving. So join me on a cross-country journey to meet the people who make up the heart of the tiki culture. Whether they're carvers, musicians, bar owners, or just people who love tropical drinks, they all share the same passion for the Hawaiian culture and lifestyle. These are the people we seek. These are the island people. The tiki lifestyle means something different to each person, but most agree that tiki's central theme is escapism. After a long day at work, there's no better way to unwind than to sip on a rum drink in your own homemade tiki bar. Building one's own tiki oasis is the next step for those who've been bitten by the tiki bug. Otto von Stroheim was drawn to the tiki lifestyle because of the carefree attitude that surrounds it.
Everybody, when they go into a tiki bar, they get a good feeling. They go into a tiki bar to kind of escape, and everybody's in there for the same reason, and they're all having a good time at the same time, and everybody gets along, and it's always a good vibe.
Otto enjoyed the tiki scene so much that he decided to create his own tiki room at his house, which certainly has its advantages.
The thing about building one in your house is that it can house your collection, and it's also a retreat where I can mix up my cocktail and hang out in here and be in this other environment that's really a world apart, even though it's just a threshold of a door away from my own house. And it can be your den, it can be your own escape, and a place to invite your friends into.
Otto's completely immersed in the tiki culture. Over the years, he's collected numerous pieces of tiki decor. So for him, his tiki bar is much more than simply a place to have a drink.
My tiki bar houses other elements of my life, such as my music collection, books, art. Yeah, I think it's important that a lot of different things be represented in your tiki bar, that it have some depth.
Part of the allure of tiki is collecting and creating things that represent the Hawaiian culture. Each piece carries some island energy, and when they all come together, they create the island vibe. For most tiki enthusiasts, you can never have too much decor.
If you say, I want a tiki bar in my house, you kind of got to go the whole 9 yards. You know, you got to have some thatch, you got to have some dramatic lighting.
These are the things that come standard in most every tiki bar, but there's plenty of room for individuality, and creating the perfect tiki paradise is different for everyone. Martin Cate is the owner of Forbidden Island in Alameda, California. His home tiki bar combines ancient Polynesian decor with modern-day technology.
Whenever somebody builds a home bar, it's a big expression of their personality, and everybody does something different. What I wanted to do was have it all actually hidden behind a moving curtain that was all remote controlled with this wireless unit. So here's how it works. Dim the regular lights, bring up the music, put on the mood lighting, turn on the bar, fire up the curtain.
Although the remote-controlled curtain adds a modern touch, it's the natural elements that Martin likes the most.
It's the aesthetic, the feel. I love the cocktails. I really like the warmth and the coziness of all the decor. There's so many natural materials, and it's very warm and inviting.
For Martin, his tiki bar provides the ultimate escape from the daily grind.
There's no outside influences, there's no cell phones, there's no TVs, there's no windows. You take the tie off, open up the bar, start squeezing the limes, make a great cocktail with some really good rum, and it's just the perfect way to unwind.
I have to find my son. Hello?
Finding Nemo is just one of the blockbuster hits created at Disney's Pixar Studios. Animators work long hours to create these wonderful movies, which can take as much as 4 years to complete. With so much time spent working at the studio, Pixar encourages their employees to create a comfortable work environment. And that's exactly what supervising animator Mark Walsh has done.
They had always encouraged you to just make your space your own, because they understand that, you know, we're all freaky artists here, and you got to have a place that's comfortable for you to be in all day. They want you to have a a comfortable work environment, I think I've just gone the most overboard. I just love it. Close the door, crank the music, you know? It's like being on the islands.
An island where his co-workers love to vacation. Throughout the day, they often drop by to recharge in Mark's Tiki Oasis.
It's like people like just coming in, sitting down and looking around and relaxing they chill for, 15, 20 minutes. People get really excited by it. They're like, you should try this too, you should try this too. You need a tiki bird, and you need an animatronic bird, and you need this, you need that. So it's kind of, I think it might be spreading the bug a little bit more here. It's like a virus, the tiki virus, man. The bug bites you and you got it.
Like so many others who've been bitten by the tiki bug, Mark strives to create his own paradise, a state of mind, a vacation at work.
I don't have a Mai Tai here at work, but I might as well. And if you've got to be here, long hours, which oftentimes you do for animation, you might as well be in a nice environment, I think.
That's awesome.
Just north of San Francisco in Kentfield lies a house guest's dream. Ever since Lee Unkrich transformed his guest room into a tiki getaway, many of his family and friends have been able to enjoy the tiki lifestyle, and that's just what Lee had in mind.
This room we knew would be the perfect room to do up as a tiki hut. We wanted that feeling of a sanctuary. We wanted people to be able to walk through a door and be in another place and another time. But I also knew that there was no way that I could take it on myself.
So to create his island sanctuary, Lee started surfing the internet in hopes to find someone who could bring his vision to life.
I went onto some of the message boards online and I started putting out feelers and saying, okay, who's the best? Who's the best person in the country? And without any hesitation, everybody pointed to Bamboo Ben and said he was the man to do it. There's no one in the world like him. He's really an artist. It takes a singular vision and somebody who's really passionate about this scene and this look to pull off a room like this, and that's Ben. It's a piece of art. It's not designing a room. He's created a piece of art.
To complement his amazing tiki room, Lee began decorating it with authentic pieces from around the world.
A lot of the art that we have in here is actual, real, primitive art from Papua New Guinea. I have a contact who procures a lot of the art that's displayed in Trader Vic's, and he's graciously let me buy a few pieces here and there over the years.
Each piece of art adds something special, but one of the highlights of Lee's Tiki guest room is the ceiling.
It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to give the illusion that you were actually in a hut. There's a sense of grass thatching up on the ceiling as if that's what the roof is actually made of, to make it really feel like like you're in a hut.
Lee's Tiki guest room seems to have everything, but like anyone with a tiki room, Lee sees even more possibilities.
It's a work in progress. I mean, that's the thing about tiki, you're never done with it. It's all about as much visual detail as possible and a lot of really fun, unexpected things. So it can never be done. I don't think there'll be a time where I step back and say the room's done.
The focal point of any tiki bar is almost always a tiki carving. Natives used to carve these wooden faces to scare away evil spirits. Nowadays, a small group of artists keep the tradition alive by creating these wooden works of art. Al Evans, known in the tiki world as Crazy Al, is one of the best carvers in the world and one of the few people able to make a living at it. His passion for carving shows in his work, but as he explains, it didn't come right away.
I didn't start really carving tikis till I was in my 30s, and I'd already graduated from art school. I never took a sculpture class because I knew I could always do it, so I wasn't very interested in it, but ended up doing it for a living. When I first started carving tikis, there wasn't hardly anybody carving tikis. Now it's fairly popular. There's a lot of fellas carving tikis. It's almost kind of a weekend warrior type thing now.
As more and more people take up the art form, Crazy Al tikis remain highly sought after because of his ability to customize each piece.
What I offer personally is a personalized tiki. Something, like I said, each tiki has its own mana, and so what I try to do is create a personal image that is very personal to that particular owner.
That personal touch is perhaps best seen in the piece Al carved for Lee's family.
Basically, it's a story of his family from bottom to top. You know, his daughters are in there, his son is in there, his wife is in there.
The tiny detail is difficult for any carver, but the biggest challenge for Al is keeping each tiki fresh and new.
I never want to duplicate a piece, and for me, that's the challenge, is to how do I create a tiki that's new, has something new in it for me, and creates a new particular look that I haven't done before. And that's the challenge for me.
For most island people, their home tiki bar is a place to escape to after work. But for Doug Miller, owner of the Kona Club in Oakland, California, having a tiki bar at his home wasn't possible, so he had to make other plans.
Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out to have one in my house, so I've got one here.
Doug has lived in Hawaii for many years, and he enjoys sharing that culture with the people who visit his Kona Club. He has a passion for the island lifestyle, and he's always interested in bringing more of that vibe into his bar.
I've always loved the idea of an island, the idea of a beach, the idea of a vacation. I like to collect tiki, I like to buy things, I like to have the idea that I can come down and play around in my own tiki bar and change things up. And I want to get some more greenery in here and maybe a waterfall, and I'd love to have fire somehow. So it's an ongoing thing, it's fun.
The bar business can present some challenges with so many people drinking alcohol in one place. But the vibe at the Kona Club is always mellow.
There's a diverse group of people that have one thing in common, enjoying life, you know, and having drinks and just having a good time. It's hard to be uptight or have mean people if there's an umbrella in the drink. That's the whole point of it, you know, is to have that little relaxing moment and say, okay, you know, life's good now.
The Kona Club is one of a handful of tiki bars that are helping to preserve and celebrate the Polynesian culture. But if you were to ask Doug or anyone else which tiki bar provides the best Hawaiian experience, they'll all give you the same answer. 3,000 miles away in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is the undisputed mecca of tiki bars, the world-famous Mai Kai. The Mai Kai has been showcasing the Polynesian culture for over 50 years. It has everything from the mystical Molokai bar, to an enchanted garden, to a live dinner show featuring authentic Hawaiian dancing. The maitre d' has been working at the Mai Kai since 1964, so he's seen it grow little by little to become the masterpiece it is today.
We didn't make none of that stuff here. The owners went to the island and purchased all those decorations and shipped them over here. So it was a lot of work to put this restaurant together.
Most people who visit the Mai Kai start their evening in the Molokai bar. They enjoy the infusion of nautical and Polynesian decor while sipping on tropical drinks. It's a popular place for happy hour and for those who want to enjoy the island experience. Drinks at the Molokai bar are usually followed by a stroll through the garden. Filled with waterfalls, exotic plants, and tikis, the garden is a destination in itself. It's a peaceful sanctuary where friends can get together and talk before heading inside for the exciting dinner show. The Mai Kai is best known for its Polynesian show featuring authentic dances representing the various rituals and rites of passage in Hawaiian culture. It's an amazing show filled with exotic costumes, intense dancing, and a little romance. The show is one of the best in the world, and the Mai Kai's guests agree.
People are amazed with the show. Some of the guests will say, I was in Hawaii 2 years ago. Their show don't even come close to your show.
People come from all over to see the unique dancing the show offers. But the ultimate crowd pleaser is the finale, when the performers twirl batons of fire. The focus and skill it takes to perform with the flaming batons has the audience cheering for more. It's the perfect ending to a wonderful experience at the world's best tiki bar, the Mai Kai. The tiki community is filled with talented people who create amazing pieces of art. Ignacio Gonzalez, known in the tiki world as Notch, built one of the most unique tiki creations ever.
This is Cool Bar.
Ku-Bar is his custom-built 20-foot-tall tiki bar with smoking eyes. Notch is no stranger to building things. He owns an auto body shop in Oakland where he builds and restores old hot rods. His love for big engines and big tiki statues inspired him to build Ku-Bar.
Well, I was always fascinated with the big Moai statues in Easter Island. I wanted to make something of that statue, a big statue, and turn it into something different, you know, and have fun with it.
Notch has a lot of fun with Ku-Bar. He takes it to tiki events and even rents it out for corporate parties. But no matter where he goes, everyone who sees Ku-Bar has the same reaction.
It gets them so excited seeing something that's huge and massive and serving drinks, and smoke comes out of the eyes and the eyes light up red. It's like going to Disneyland almost. It's a big treat to them, and they just get excited and they just love hanging around the bar and talking about it.
All kinds of people have enjoyed Ku-Bar, from corporate executives to concert goers. But no matter who they are, they all ask the same question.
You made this? I go, yeah, I made it, you know, and they're like, is it wood? No, it's not wood. And I tell them the process of how it's made.
Notch made the skeleton out of chicken wire, covered it with felt, and sprayed it with a polyurethane foam. Once it hardened, he painted it to give Ku-Bar its distinctive look, a look that has a lot of people asking for their very own.
Everywhere I take it, everybody wants one, you know. The only problem is the space. They don't have no space for it, you know, and it's funny because they really want one, but they have no way of getting it into their backyard or house.
So for now, Ku-Bar will remain at Notch's place until the next party or corporate event. But that shouldn't be too long, because if there's one thing Notch has learned,
if you build it, they will come.
The mellow vibe that surrounds the tiki culture is largely created by the exotic music that's played in tiki bars. It just takes hearing a couple of chords on a ukulele to make you feel like you're sitting on a white sandy beach in Hawaii.
All right, you're rolling.
For Howard Bowers, there's nothing better than creating tiki music. Joining the Crazed Mugs was a dream come true for this island musician.
I was actually a guy in my bedroom playing ukulele. When I ran across the Crazed Mugs, you know, to me, okay, great, here's other guys that are doing the same thing. I thought to myself, God, that'd be just so fantastic if I could be in a band that played that kind of music, because I just loved it so much. It was a very natural extension for me to go into tiki music. I had been constantly looking for something to move into that was a little bit more than, you know, rock and roll. It is one of the funnest things that I've ever done. I would be thrilled to just play these same songs over and over again. I wouldn't even need new stuff because it's just fun to do. As a musician, you're always looking for people that you can interplay and go back and forth and live in that moment. And with this group, you live in that moment all the time. It's one of those things that don't happen very often in a person's life. So when you really just hit it, it just feels so good. We're entertainers. You know, we're not performers, we're not hardcore musicians. We're entertainers, and I think that's the part that really comes out. It makes it fun for us, and I think it makes it fun for the audience, and I think that's why they respond.
Let's go! Rum, barrel, barrel of rum.
Since the height of its popularity in the 1950s, the tiki scene has been one of pop culture's best-kept secrets. But in recent years, more and more people are discovering the tiki community and all it has to offer.
I think it's going more and more mainstream, and I think it should only be good for the community. It's something that the more people involved, the more creativity, I think it can be a fun ride.
If and when the masses will embrace the tiki culture remains to be seen. But whether they do or not, the island people will be sure to keep the scene alive in the basements, patios, and corner bars across America.
There's something kind of special about keeping something that is actually uniquely American, keeping that alive going forward.
I think that tiki itself is timeless, so even if it did die out for a generation or so, it would come back again because it's kind of it's something that's built into man.
I want to be a tourist at home. I want to have that feeling that I'm free that I'm enjoying life, that I'm unburdened by all the pressures that we have every day, and I think that's what the idea of Tiki is.
It's nice to have, in the hustle bustle of our busy lives today, something like this that reminds you of those beach times, those down times, those mellow times.
It's so different from your everyday that you can't help but feel relaxed and better and just...